This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Colgate Total may make your favorite toothpaste, but it's also a science innovator committed to oral health. For instance, the Colgate Total Active Prevention System. With a cutting-edge toothbrush, refreshing antibacterial mouthwash, and a reformulated toothpaste. With a technology so innovative, it won the 2024 Edison Patent Award. The Colgate Total Active Prevention System is 15 times more effective at reducing bacteria buildup to fight the root cause of oral health problems in 6 weeks, starting from week 1, compared to a non-antibacterial fluoride toothpaste and flat trim toothbrush. Talk about science. Get the Colgate Total Active Prevention System today so you can be dentist ready. Shop now by visiting shop.colgate.com/total.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
This season, let your shoes do the talking. Designer Shoe Warehouse is packed with fresh styles that speak to your whole vibe without saying a word. From cool sneakers that look good with everything, to easy sandals you'll want to wear on repeat, DSW has you covered. Find a shoe for every you from the brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, New Balance, and more. Head to your DSW store or visit DSW.com today.
Join us at Shields in Eden Prairie this Saturday from noon to 3 for TB1 Fun's Putt for Patience, mini golf, food trucks, bounce houses, prizes, and more, plus meet and greets with our own Paul Allen, Justin Gard, Marty Gellner, and K102's Muss. Tickets start at just $5 for kids. Visit tb1fund.org. That's TBONE fund.org for details.
I was just talking with the program director, Chad Abbott, just making sure everything's okay. And again, Paul Allen, host of 9 to Noon. I'm Nordo. I'm in for PA today. It's vocal maintenance. It's vocal maintenance season. Everything's got to be good by training camp. The talkbacks. I was mentioning the talkbacks. What Chad Abbott would like is if you're on the tractor, we got a Sioux Cup prize pack for one of you via social media. It can be Instagram. It can be X. To post a photo with the hashtag #FanOnTheFarm. #FanOnTheFarm. We want a photo of you in the tractor. Want a photo of you on the farm. Doesn't even have to be a selfie per se. It could just be the tractor. It could just be hanging out in the fields, handling business. You're in the barn. It's sowing season. We have a Sioux Cup Manufacturing prize pack to be given away at the end of the show, simply with a picture on social, hashtag #FanOnTheFarm, and tag KFAN 1003. Fan on the farm. Pictures, talkbacks. We do it all because we love farmers. Thank you, Sioux Cup Manufacturing. Brett, we have a rematch.
We do.
We have a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup final, which in itself was awesome. And ultimately, the Panthers win it in 7. This time around, you have the Panthers dispatching of the Carolina Canes. Sorry to Raleigh. And the Dallas Stars. I'm sure many Wild fans are shedding no tears this morning.
Mm-hmm.
But it was ranting in, and it's still Sagan and Ben and the whole group. And Ottinger. We love Ottinger. That's what's tough. We cannot like the Stars. We got to love the local kid. One of the great goaltenders in the NHL.
And he got done dirty last night, too.
Did he get done dirty by
I think
DeBoer?
so. Pulling your franchise goalie just after 2 goals. I get what he was trying to do. I get trying to fire up your team, spark something. But then it was just the ultimate. It's a huge gamble, and it came up he busted in a blackjack sense because they just shut down after that.
Yeah.
It was all Oilers after that.
So I think it was at 3-2, and then the Oilers made it 4-2. It was kind of a little back and forth before McDavid's goal, right? Just kind of the frame up of that game. Stars come out, first game of the series, and wax them. They get and maybe there's some fraudulence to that. Did Mikael Granlund have a hat trick in that game? That first one, I think, where it was 5 goals in the third period, and Dallas just kind of ran away with that, and McDavid's like, nah, we'll see you in a couple of days. We'll try to figure this out. But ultimately, then over the next 2 or 3 games, it was like you're getting outscored like 9-1, and it was Oilers domination from there on out. I think you got to roll with Ottinger. I think that's kind of an L move by DeBoer, where the risk is so much greater than the reward in a gotta-have win.
Yeah, if you're going to make that move, and I get, like, Game 3 you lose 6-1, Game 4 you lose 4-1. Like, I understand that. In my opinion, you don't do it mid-game. You don't throw them out there for a couple periods and go, all right, see you later. Like, if you're going to make the move, you send the message earlier. I don't know, just a weird decision for me. But, yeah, the Oilers, they're used to, this whole playoffs, they've only played one less game than the Panthers. Both of these teams are just flying by. The Panthers struggled with Toronto for a little bit, but other than that, they've pretty much been in control of every series they've been in.
Did that Toronto series go 6 or 7?
Went 7.
It did go 7?
Yeah, but even despite that, so if I'm looking at the bracket, so Florida's path, 4-1 over the Lightning, 4-3 over Toronto, that's a Game 7, 4-1 over Carolina.
So they handled business.
Yeah, where meanwhile, 4-2 Edmonton over LA, 4-1 Edmonton over Vegas, 4-1 Edmonton over Dallas. So one extra game, that's it. Both of these teams have clearly been 2 of the best, if not the 2 best.
Who's the more sour fan base, Toronto, and just what's been happening? It's not even recent years. They kind of got a Minnesota sports trek going, specifically with the Leafs, and then the Oilers fans, who they're on the brink of it this year, and they very much they could go out and house the Panthers and hoist the Stanley Cup, but now we're talking about McDavid. He's not 18 anymore. And you've been so close. You've had so many good teams. Feels like goaltending's been part of the conversation. Defensive issues at times over the last decade or so. Or when did McDavid come in? He's a decade in now, isn't he?
Has to be.
Yeah,
you would think.
But I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But
yeah,
it just feels like whether it's Toronto fans gripping or it's Oilers fans, like this is our shot. Kind of felt that way when the Wolves were facing the Thunder. This is our shot. Super muddy West. Super muddy NBA right now in general, with every year a new and different champion over the last 6-7 years, that this is our shot. It kind of feels like the Oilers are thinking that too right now, aren't they?
Well, you just made me Google that, and I just realized Connor McDavid's a couple months younger than me, which makes me feel very old. But no, to me, I think Edmonton is going to win the series. I think they have the revenge tour going. If I were doing the Brett's bets, if PA was here, I would bet on Edmonton. I'll say this though, I think Toronto has more of a claim. When you have the media coming out and saying, I don't know how any player can play for Toronto, with them throwing jerseys on the ice midway through the game, even though they're in the second round, like they have some round success. It's not like the Wilds, you can't get out of the first round at all. And just the toxicity level. But I think any toxicity from Edmonton goes away after this series. I think they're going to win it.
But you do feel like this is Edmonton's year.
I really do.
So what sets the Panthers back?
I think top end skill. Again, I've been saying that the Panthers have the top end skill, and they do. And this is 1A and 1B. Obviously, it's a Stanley Cup final. But I think having that guy to go over, and I could be wrong, but I think the revenge factor. They've known. They've had this circled on their calendar for a long time of they need to get back, especially after clawing their way back from 3 games down to force a Game 7 and then just to lose it at the last second. I just feel like everything's kind of lining up where they've had an easier, even though it's one game, an easier run. I don't know. My gut feeling is just telling me that with Connor McDavid, like he just will not let them lose this year.
Short series?
I think it goes a little longer. I mean, I would say at least 6 or 7. It could be a long series, but I just feel like it's just the same thing as with the Stars when I called it to the Western Finals. I just feel like it's the revenge year. I feel like it's their time to get over the hump. So, and Tkachuk has been dealing with some stuff too. I don't know what their health level is as far as the Panthers go, but I just feel like it's going to be different this time.
Well, he got hurt in the 14 bit, didn't he? Tkachuk for Team USA.
Well, he did. Yeah, there was that too. But then he was feeling some stuff as well. I think earlier in the playoffs. But he's still slotted on their second line.
Yeah, he plays every game.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
so
not
and
gonna miss
nothing's
these games.
nothing's keeping him off the ice here. But again, we deal with this with Kaprizov all the time. Is he's playing and that's great, but is he 100% playing? Because there's a difference between 100% Kaprizov and 93% Kaprizov. So we'll see. But my gut feeling says Edmonton finally gets over the hump and breaks the Canadian team Stanley Cup drought that's been going on since I think 91.
91, or isn't it's like 93 maybe? Montreal?
It was Montreal. I want to say 91, but it could be 93. Semantics.
Okay. So it's time for Edmonton. Do you feel is it one of those things too, like with Ovechkin when they finally won it with the Capitals, you as a hardcore puck head, that we just need McDavid to have a title? We need the best player on the planet to have a cup under his belt? Is there that vibe to it?
It certainly would be among those lines. Yeah, that still to this day is one of my favorite cup lifts there is when Ovechkin finally lifted, because I think he had the best, happiest relief face I've ever seen. It just was so emotional. I mean, you can't write that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think he's at that point yet.
I don't think he would give it back.
Well,
I think it had to be wrestled from his hands.
Yeah, and it was in Vegas too, so you know how that went down the rest of the night. With McDavid,
he doesn't.
Well, no,
he may not remember
none of them
much
remember
of that.
Absolutely not. McDavid's got a lot of time left, so it's not to the point where time's running out. That was kind of the bit with Ovechkin, even though he ended up playing a handful of years later. I mean, he was still gray in the beard then. When's this guy going to finally get one? Crosby, his career-long, not rival, but the guy he gets compared to all the time, got several of his. When's Ovi going to get his? I don't think McDavid's at that point yet, but it would feel like the crowning moment, both figuratively and literally, for Connor.
All right, game 1, Panthers, Edmonton Oilers. I believe it is in Edmonton, Wednesday night, 7 p.m., TNT. Go Oilers. Go McDavid. Go Draisaitl. Make it happen. Thank you for that preview.
Of course.
It's a rematch for the ages. There's no doubt about it. Our favorite team. We're just excited for some cap relief that we will immediately probably have to spend this summer, but we'll leave that conversation for when those times arise. We're going to get into more talkbacks. I have some audio from the head coach, a couple other members of the Wolves from yesterday I want to jump into. Again, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah has been extended, contract extension with the Minnesota Vikings, multi-year bid. I'm sure Brett will have that in news. I also saw something. It looks like Demetrius Washington and Ryan Grigson have been promoted. They get some new job titles. Yeah, they're getting some new business cards because they will have to say assistant general manager on them now. So congratulations to those. We'll talk about all of that and more with Alec Lewis during the final hour. You're listening to 9 to Noon on The Fan.
Colgate Total may make your favorite toothpaste, but it's also a science innovator committed to oral health. For instance, the Colgate Total Active Prevention System. With a cutting-edge toothbrush, refreshing antibacterial mouthwash, and a reformulated toothpaste, with a technology so innovative, it won the 2024 Edison Patent Award. The Colgate Total Active Prevention System is 15 times more effective at reducing bacteria buildup to fight the root cause of oral health problems in 6 weeks, starting from week 1, compared to a non-antibacterial fluoride toothpaste and flat trim toothbrush. Talk about science. Get the Colgate Total Active Prevention System today so you can be dentist ready. Shop now by visiting shop.colgate.com/total.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
App.
It's time for a Covenant Cleanup, 9 to noon. Sponsored by nobody. We make a ton of mistakes every single day. Screw stuff up. It is indeed 93, Brett. The Stanley Cup drought. Thanks to those, and it's your sport, by the way. So,
I'm aware of that.
I mean,
I was also not born. I just want the record to show. Not that matters, but
I needed you to inform me as it pertained. Yeah. But I ended up being correct. See, that's
I knew it was Montreal. I knew it was that time frame. Leave me alone.
They beat the Kings. They beat the Kings in 93. I wonder if Gretzky was still playing in those days. He ended his career with the Kings, didn't he?
Wasn't it the Blues?
I don't know.
In a career with?
That's what the text line is here for. That's why Covenant Cleanups exist, is because, specifically me, I tend to bring up things that I might not completely know, but it's on the top of my mind, so I just say it. And that's why I'm jealous. There are people out there, whether they listen to the fan or not, but they are on a career track or a path. They found a passion young, and they know every single thing about a particular subject. They are an expert in a particular area. Whereas for me, ultimately, my knowledge base is good for second place in Buffalo Wild Wings trivia at the Chanhassen location over lunch. That's what my knowledge base in the end is. That's all it's worth. Gotten some free wings out of the deal.
Do they still have the tablets?
Free fountain sodas.
You remember that? The like little analog machines that they used to have for the trivia?
With the physical, the blue with the yellow buttons. Or was it yellow with blue buttons? I forget.
You'd be like, that's my name on there.
No, you play on the app now.
Yeah.
Play on the app. Ugh. Kids love it. Take the kids there. Play some trivia. Feel dumb. Leave. Continue on with life. It was indeed 1993. My buddy Maury Amsterdam guy texted me this, though. The Florida Panthers, like McDavid better get it now. The Panthers have $20 million in cap space next year, 41 in 27. Now, clearly, there are contracts that need to be sewed up as part of this. I don't think it tells the entire story. $59 million in 2 years. So they got a lot of contracts that are expiring. So that either means, and I don't know what the contract status is of a Reinhardt or a Barkov or a Kachuk or Verhaeghe, et cetera, or Bennett, but they have an opportunity to keep that. They have, where we've been sweating dollars for a decade.
Yeah.
We're watching the team hoist a Stanley Cup the year before, potentially go back-to-back. You're vibing McDavid and Draisaitl. But their flexibility over the next 3 years is absolutely freaking astounding. And that's where, again, I'm going to play some audio. What is it, 30? It's going back to 1991 since the Twins won a title. We all know this. I mean, again, talk about belaboring. But it's like you get so close, and then you just kind of dig into how things are constructed. You watch the Eagles hoist a Lombardi. And we're running through free agency trying to find every big defensive tackle we possibly can. Sports, a world of copycats. This formula works. Everyone's going to do it. And then there's a small innovation. McVay was an innovator years ago. But right now, and maybe this has just been, well, not maybe, it's been a truth that hasn't always been talked about. But if you dominate the lines of scrimmage, you're winning football games. But you look at these teams and you're free. We get to the doorstep and now we're trying to figure out player options in the NBA and second apron this and taxes that. And you're looking at a Thunder team that has double-digit first-round picks in the next handful of years. Their core players, SGA, the oldest among them at 26. Like, he hasn't even gotten his best yet. And Chet and Jalen Williams coming on as a star and just kind of understanding the flexibility of what they can do around that trio for the next so many years. You see, again, the Panthers, the financial flexibility that they have. We're sweating. Is it an absolute guarantee that number 97 is going to sign a long-term deal and we can just ink the pad to paper and be done with it? What are we going to put around with them? There's probably still Rossi talkers, etc. Man, peeking over the fence can be very humbling at times. And, wow, flexibility for the Panthers. So, yes, McDavid indeed better get it while the getting is good. To the Talkback machine, fan on the farm, Sukup Manufacturing, there will be some winners today. Let's dial up some more Talkbacks if you can, Brett, and somebody's going to get a prize pack at the end of the show.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
This is James from Tracy, Minnesota, southwest corner for Farmers on the Fan. Just giving Mr. Greenway a little update. We loaded a couple of loads of pigs last night. Got a couple more going out today. We got some junior high kids picking rock. Now school's done. They're moving along in the corn. Hopefully get some corn sprayed too. It's not windy down here for the first time in a long time, so hopefully that gets done. Have a good weekend, guys. Skol!
Skol indeed. Yeah, I did get this. I let me see here. Everyone, this is Kyle from Baxter. Everyone's done planting, possibly not spraying today. At least one guy's spraying, or he's getting ready to spray. It's good for him. More Talkbacks, free iHeartRadio app. Hit the microphone. Give us up to your best 30 seconds. Let's hear another one.
Hey, Nordo. This is Trent in West Central Minnesota. Been done planting for about a month, so we're busy spraying corn today. And we've been hauling grain out of the Sukup bins, using the Sukup bin sweeps to get them all cleaned out.
Dang.
Glad to hear about Kwesi's extension. Had some rough drafts, but free agency's been great, and we all grow and are learning more every day and improving, and hopefully...
Oh. Sorry, Trent. 30 seconds. But he was spraying.
Yeah.
Okay, it is spraying season. Spraying season. Fan on the farm. I'm a better agricultural mind than people give me credit for.
Is that right?
Yes. I'm going to stand tall on that.
You plant and spray more than people know.
Yeah, I got, there was a small reaping versus sowing related confusion. I thought you'd use combines, but it's not the time of year for that. I don't know. Just appreciating people. Talkbacks.
Morning, Nordo, Chad, and Brett. Name's Lance in southeast Minnesota. Finishing up planting some corn that we took alfalfa off earlier this week. On Kwesi, I am excited to have him. He's done great in the free agents. Could clean up the draft a little bit, but excited what he can do for the next couple of years.
Yeah, thanks for the talk back. And that is, again, talking with Chad during the first hour, the 22 draft we all know is awful. And kind of the goal, and he had kind of laid it out. He had vocalized this, getting younger and getting more financially flexible. And so the financial flexibility part, we departed with a lot of veterans, a lot of names that we knew and we loved and we enjoyed and had given us good moments, but it was time to move on. The ability to re-sign Justin Jefferson, the ability to re-sign Christian Darrisaw. Man, we need him healthy, right? So hopefully he's good to go here in 2025. The getting younger part's been tricky because so much of our work has been done in free agency. Jonathan Allen and Hargrave, certainly, just those two names alone, aren't helping the average age of our roster. I think the Vikings may have been among the older rosters in 2024. I don't know where it sits at this particular moment. So, but from a free agent standpoint, finding productivity has been massive. Chief among them, we know what Van Ginkel and Grenard were able to do a year ago. Cashman really fitting like a glove in this defense. And now, what does Donovan Jackson look like? Again, addressing the O-line. And just being tired of that excuse, being tired of that issue and solving it. You go out, you get Fries and Kelly in free agency, you draft Jackson in 24th overall this year. And if he hits, again, part of that conversation of Kwesi's hits and misses, overall, you may have to say there have been more hits than misses, but we got to rebuild that draft capital now. So extension's cool. Welcome back. Keeping the regime intact. There's part of me, too, that thinks if you're Kevin O'Connell, you like Kwesi in this spot. I think if you have found a pathway from KO standpoint to accomplishing what you want to accomplish, getting your guys, having the freedom from a decision-making standpoint, you need to know who your teammate is on the other side of the table. Chad said it best. Change can be incredibly difficult, specifically in those types of spots. So the ability, I know who I'm working with. I know I'm working with Kwesi. I know I'm working with Grigson and Washington. Now your assistant GMs. But trading away draft picks, constantly going back to the free agent well, love all the money they had and love all the money they spent and maybe the places they spent it. That's the next step. So 2025 has to be a heavy draft focus, has to be a successful draft focus for him. More talkbacks?
Morning, KFAN. This is Brandon from North Dakota. Got to be happy with back-to-back Western Conference Finals. If you're a Wolves fan, we've changed the identity of this franchise into real contenders. One frustration I have with Finch is the development of the young guys. I feel like we could have given Terrence Shannon Jr. and Rob Dillingham more opportunities throughout the regular season, so that way we could have relied more on them in the playoffs when it mattered.
I love that talkback. And that's a good transition point. More talkbacks, prize packs to give away. Keep them coming. Free iHeartRadio app. Also, send a photo. Hashtag fan on the farm. Tag at KFAN 1003. X and Instagram. You'll get a prize pack there too. But here is Finch. Specifically, you mentioned developing the young guys. And I'm with you. Here's Finch from yesterday, kind of cleaning out the lockers, cleaning out closets, cleaning out desks, closing doors, turning lights off. Maybe not in that order. Here's Finch talking about Rob Dillingham.
I do think at times like he needs to just go somewhere rather than try to overcomplicate it with a lot of dribbling. Just, put your head down and go, use your speed. And then, I think he's got to kind of round out his shot. He's got some inconsistencies right now. Playing next to Anthony is going to lead to a lot of catch and shoot opportunities. He's got to be ready for those. He's got to be able to knock those down at a pretty high clip. I think once he gains some physical strength, develops some consistency, kind of every shot is a little different. A lot of twists and turns and doesn't always come up and down in the same spot. So those are things you can definitely work on and get better at. And I think he'll see growth there pretty easily.
Yeah, I remember PA and I did a show from the Mayo Clinic Square, the practice facility across the street before the season, and got to see Rob Dillingham in person, got to see Terrence Shannon Jr., got to see all the guys, got to see Randall and DiVincenzo. The conversation before the season about him, and then just kind of let's just lump him in, of course, a couple of first-round picks for the Wolves, Terrence Shannon Jr. later in the first. The conversation between those two was such that, your 8th overall pick, the ceiling is higher than that of Terrence Shannon Jr. He's only 19 years old. I think he just turned 20 January, something like that. The ceiling for him is probably higher. And you can see the athleticism, his creativity, and his playmaking ability is absolutely unquestioned. But can he shoot? Is he mature enough or mentally ready for decision-making in games that count? And how he's going to fit in this. And we would hope that by the end of the season, that he was going to be the secondary option to Conley. Let's keep old people energized, right? Let's take some tread off those tires, or keep tread on those tires, and give him a rest when we need to, and we can potentially do that with Dillingham. Obviously, that didn't happen. Now the question goes back to Finch is, why weren't you giving him more opportunities? I think he had an ankle or something at some point that was nagging him. I'd see him on injury reports. He wasn't available for not a huge number of games, but he was kind of up and down in the mix there. Certainly and obviously end of the bench guy. But his ceiling was potentially higher than a Terrence Shannon Jr., but Terrence Shannon Jr., being several years older, playing 4 years at Illinois. I think he may have started at a different school. I don't know why that hits me the way it does, but ultimately, Terrence Shannon Jr., who's about to turn 25, I think he was at Texas Tech. He was somewhere else. But at any rate, long college career. And that he was going to be more NBA ready out of the gates. So the criticism, ultimately has to land at the feet of Finch and the staff, where you identified this guy, you make a move to get him, and he was a complete non-factor for the duration of the entire season. That from point A to point Z, 24-25 season, that he didn't really give you anything more in the postseason than he would have in late October. And that's a problem for your 8th overall pick. That ultimately is a problem, despite being a team that really likes 8 guys, really likes that rotation. How much of it is just loving those guys versus out of necessity, those 8 guys? And we just, until it's time to empty the benches, we're not going to see Luka Garza. There was almost maybe a stubbornness at times of even employing Shannon Jr. in some of these games in this postseason. That does warrant some criticism, I think, on the coach. But specifically with Dillingham, in the end, clearly, he wasn't ready. We need that. We need that evolution. So what Finch was talking about there, getting that shot going, building physically, being stronger, and just readying himself for an 82-game season and being an option. He's not there. That is a concern. Because now you go into a summer where you talk about farewell tour for Conley and putting this thing together. What is Nickeil Alexander-Walker going to do? It's an interesting thing with him. You could just say, well, he only made $4.5 million this year, something like that. But with the apron and caps and all of that, signing him to another contract, does that potentially mess things up financially for the Howl versus what you were getting out of him, what you want to get out of him? You love his ability to handle the ball. But again, you drafted Dillingham to be that long-term answer. So without Nickeil in the mix, what does that mean for Terrence Shannon Jr.? Here's Finch on the other rookie.
Yeah, he has all the raw tools to be a great defender, no doubt about it. I think it's for him, his biggest area of growth this off season and in the next season is really shoring up his defense. He should be destructive, be able to blow up a lot of stuff. Has a body to contain. Like most young players, what trips him up a little bit at the moment is just the awareness that things are happening so fast and just getting a feel for that. That's just repetition.
Yeah, and this would be another potential area that warrants criticism on the coach. Is now, with that said, Terrence Shannon Jr. Is he that guy that could potentially replace? No. Now he's not replacing Nickeil in terms of equal skill sets, equal utility on the team, but ultimately within that rotation, is he potentially a guy that can do that? I think he can. The aggression offensively is there. But the interesting thing with Shannon, kind of bull in China shop like fashion, he's good for 3 buckets. He'll get you 3 boards. But he's also going to take 3 fouls, and he's going to do all that in 3 minutes. So it's that spark plug, it's that energy burst, and we loved it in these games. We were clamoring for it. Something has to change. They gave us all those open triples. We took the cheese, and we couldn't sink them in game 1. And eventually, Finch is like, I need to change of pace. I need something different. That ended up being Terrence Shannon Jr. How he can evolve is another question. for a team that now is into the summertime. Not foaming at the mouth, but certainly you're looking at Oklahoma City and you're like, we want to be puppets on a string too. Can Terrence Shannon Jr. be part of that a year from now defensively? You hope so. And that's what Finch was talking about there. Last thing from the coach. It's a minute and change, but here he is kind of summing up the season.
Yeah, I think pretty rewarding. I think it is probably my encapsulation of the season, just because we went through a lot of trials and tribulations. You know, I'm not going to lie, it was an incredibly fun season for me at times, and I don't think it was for our guys. But we always found a way to kind of figure it out and get better, and and that was the rewarding part. The way that, listen, I mean, been in sports long enough, you guys follow sports, like, this shit never ends well. It don't matter if you lose by 40 or you lose at the buzzer. There's only one way that it ends well. So to sit here and ruminate about how the season ends, or how much it hurts a fan base, or how much it hurts a player or whatever, or some long-suffering franchise, like, every city, every sports team goes through the same stuff, you know. You should be an Eagles fan in the 80s. It wasn't fun. So, but, yeah, we're making up for it, right? So, I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying, like, it was a rough childhood. So yeah, I just think, like, consistency of approach and putting yourself in the place time and again to get enough chances to do it. I mean, how many times did Boston have to get there before that's what the league is about right now. We're about to have our 7th different champion in 7 seasons. Unprecedented.
That's Finch from yesterday. And he's right. He's right at the end there. The 7 different champions, 7 years. I think in the last 5 seasons, so 5 seasons, 5 finals, 10 total teams, we will see 9 different ones. We will see 9 different total representatives of the East and West Coast in total in the NBA Finals. I think the Celtics were the only ones that have been there twice, lost once, and won one. I got to be honest, though, with you, Coach. Because I get it, and this goes back to yesterday. I think it does kind of matter how you end the season. I mean, and, as an Eagles fan in the 80s, I hear that. Try being a Twins, Wild, Vikings, or Wolves fan the last 3 decades here. I don't care about Ron Jaworski. Look at the list of the purple passers. And it won't, it's not pretty. The fans are carrying a heavy emotional weight here. And yes, technically it hurts regardless of how you lose, but they're getting Nas Reed tattoos. They're hyping up Dante DiVincenzo at the coffee shop. He was talking about that yesterday. They're filling up Target Center. They're wearing jerseys at school. I got to be honest. One thing we don't lack is perspective on good times versus bad times, triumphs versus heartbreaking losses. We've done nothing but lose for 3 decades. So in that Game 5, in the end of a season, go back now 2 years in a row, tough one against Dallas. Again, I mentioned Rudy and Randall, the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year who helps you get here, is also part of the reason you're not in it anymore. Julius Randle, significant part of why you got here. It's also part of the reason maybe you're not in the mix any longer. So I think in some ways, kind of the fight and the care, we kind of dig into those details. I think they matter a lot. The players you root for and adore kind of all collectively say, we're done. We're done. And the fans, we have to believe. Down 3-1. Well, it's Wolves in 5, Wolves in 6, Wolves in 7. We play that game. We spend all year rooting for this team. We spend all year like an ostrich head in sand. Well, DiVincenzo will figure it out. We're definitely going to enjoy him in the postseason. And it didn't work out. Nas, get those rebounds going, hit those threes. Everything's going to be fine in the postseason. Anthony Edwards can't finish at the rim. But we know when it's absolutely clutch, absolutely got to have it. That's one guy we can certainly trust. And Julius Randle the passer, oh, no bully ball available? Well, he'll figure it out. He'll adjust. And we kind of put our head in the sand for a little bit, and then a lot of those things came to fruition on the bad side of things in the playoffs. So, Eagles fan in the 80s, man. Try being a Minnesota sports fan like right now. Right now. And it's also, the digging into the minutia and the nitpicking and all of that. That is a sign of our care. And so, Anthony Edwards' quote from, was it yesterday? I'm 23. Why would it hurt? I'm going to get to do this a whole bunch of times. I'm not, it's kind of that for me personally in a vacuum. I'm not offended by Ant saying that at all, but it's kind of just, it hurts a lot of the fans. So, and I think maybe they look for that acknowledgement. Like, could you just offer some contrition or some acknowledgement of the fact that, I went to all these games and I rooted for you guys. I got the foam finger and I hung out in the Lexus Club and just kind of hoping maybe, even if you end the season, you ended on a note saying we're not going down without throwing a few punches of our own. So I think that's kind of where the fans' heads are at. But in the end, ultimately, only one team gets to celebrate it at the end of this. That aspect is true. And it's tough for a lot of us out there where for more than 3 decades, that one particular team in the 4 largest sports hasn't been them, hasn't been our team. And we would like it to be. And we believe in Ant. Got to get that development going over the summer. Believe in you, Finch. Put the pieces together. Very, very pivotal summer for the Howl. And looking forward to seeing how they navigate that. But that is where the book closes on the 2024-2025 Wolves. A lot going on, including Vikings OTAs. The general manager, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, has been re-upped. Extension for the GM. New job titles for Ryan Grigson and Demetrius Washington. They're now assistant general managers. Cool stuff there. OTA practices in play. We got a Stanley Cup final ahead of us. Could be a battle of the cornfields. The Knicks didn't flame out in Game 5. Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns were ready to play. They wanted one more game. We'll see how that works into the finals against OKC. And we might talk about some of that during news with Brett Blakemore as we continue. Middle hour, Alec Lewis in studio, 11 o'clock. But some news around the corner now.
Colgate Total may make your favorite toothpaste, but it's also a science innovator committed to oral health. For instance, the Colgate Total Active Prevention System. With a cutting-edge toothbrush, refreshing antibacterial mouthwash, and a reformulated toothpaste. With a technology so innovative, it won the 2024 Edison Patent Award. The Colgate Total Active Prevention System is 15 times more effective at reducing bacteria buildup to fight the root cause of oral health problems in 6 weeks, starting from week 1, compared to a non-antibacterial fluoride toothpaste and flat trim toothbrush. Talk about science. Get the Colgate Total Active Prevention System today so you can be dentist ready. Shop now by visiting shop.colgate.com/total.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Hey everybody, so when you get asked what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
To noon on the Fan. News to Nord brought to you by the Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Feeling the felt with poker, blackjack, and table games all year round. Horse racing in play as well. And so get to CanterburyPark.com for all event details. Where are we headed, Brett?
We're headed over to Egan.
Number 1.
Because your Vikings dropped some news right at the top of the show, gave us something to talk about. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and the Vikings have agreed to a multi-year contract extension. I haven't seen the actual timeline for that yet, but multi-year extension. We're happy for him. Several various happy quotes from Mark Wilf, Ziggy Wilf, everyone in the Vikings organization, how happy they are and the progress that they've made. He's here to stay. A couple assistant GM promotions as well to talk about, but that's the big A topic for your Minnesota Vikings. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah here to stay.
So none of the ownership group or front office people offered quotes saying, we have begrudgingly re-signed Kwesi? It sounded like they were all excited and happy about it.
It seems like they were. Yeah, his leadership, vision, and collaboration with our coaching staff has positioned the Minnesota Vikings for sustained success, says Mark Wilf. So there you go.
Yeah,
it's all roses.
I get the idea that collaboration might be the biggest part of those adjectives as it pertains to the GM and his work with the front office and those in personnel. The ownership group are saying very, very positive things about it, obviously, all jokes aside. But I'm interested to hear from Alec and text line 64686. I get this. I actually see some people complaining online about Kwesi getting extended. Don't worry. If J.J. McCarthy doesn't pan out, everyone's getting fired, and I will have a mental breakdown. But then on the other side, renewing Kwesi's crazy. Or excuse me, no. Renewing crazy Kwesi is only going to hold the Vikings back from being a much better team. Kwesi's draft picks are terrible over the past 3 seasons. Who are his top picks? Jordan Addison, Dallas Turner, and Lewis Seen? Or Booth? Or who? Can you name one other player in the past 3 years without looking it up? Just giving Kevin the lead decision in the draft room this spring isn't enough. Way too many people have given our GM a free pass. Sorry, the analytics honeymoon is over. Well, the Kwesi version of analytics is he's terrible, just awful. In the real world, he would have been warned after last season and encouraged to do much better, but by now he would have been fired. There are a lot of people out there that can do the same lousy job that our GM has done. A lot. That's old blue. Checking in, 64686.
Is he from east of the river? What's going on here?
So a little bit. So there's dissenting opinions on the outside in the fan base, but the job, the ink is dry. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah re-up, multi-year contract extension, and again, new business cards for Ryan Grigson and Demetrius Washington.
I've been trying to find it the entire time that you've been talking, and I don't know where you keep it, but I was hoping to get a live version of the GM is Kwesi, but I can't find it, so... Are you going to grace us with that?
No, you always try to play those bits to irk me, Brett.
It's not to irk you. I like them.
I've hidden them specifically from you.
From me.
So that we don't
Naturally.
play. We'll probably jump back into that because I know that Alec just released something via The Athletic, theathletic.com, specifically on the Kwesi Adofo-Mensah extension. So we'll talk about that and OTA bits with Alec right around the corner. What else is newsy?
We'll do this.
Number 2.
We haven't talked about this club in a while. Your Minnesota Twins. Thanks to the MLB via the Twins because they just lost a series in Tampa. They have a day off. They're going to be playing in Seattle tonight. Quite the I don't know what we're doing with efficiency, and I thought road trips would be a West Coast swing and an East Coast swing and a South swing, but no. Tampa one night, 2 days later, Seattle. Just a 5-0 on Friday for your Twins. It's an L to lose the series. 9-10 is first pitch for the Twins in Seattle.
Yeah, the getaway day didn't treat them well with the 5-rip loss. Zebby Matthews is on the mound. I think, we'll talk about Alec. He used to cover, I believe, the Boone County Fair, and he also covered the Kansas City Royals for a time. So we'll talk about those things. Took 2 out of 3, Meatloaf, the Royals, and Bobby Witt Jr. Rays, not bad. Rays, good. Lose 2 or 3 to them. Now, you are playing the Athletics once you're out there, Brett.
That is true.
So it was a long flight, but now they're going to be out for 3 in Seattle. Zebby Matthews, Ober, and Paddock, I believe. We will see Castillo. And I haven't followed all I know about them, about the Mariners right now, is they've lost 4 or 5 and they're struggling. That's what I know about Seattle right now. I know that the Twins have really righted the ship over the last month, which has been a beautiful thing. They're not winning 13 in a row, but they are handling series and handling business at a much better clip than they were earlier in the season. Problem is, Detroit Tigers, they're not losing. They've won 4 straight, and they are 6 games up atop the AL Central. Anything else?
GM is crazy.
So dumb.
The GM is crazy. The GM is crazy. I believe.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
I'm happy that I found that. So, okay.
All right.
That's all I got.
I appreciate that. We did cover Knicks beat the Pacers to stay alive in the Eastern Conference Final, the NBA. It's over. Ottinger gets pulled. It was 2 goals on 2 shots, so that's an awful way to start a gotta-stay-alive game. But you pull your preferred netminder in that spot. Kind of ridiculous. And whatever spark you were looking for, DeBoer, it didn't work. McDavid and Draisaitl, they stomp you. And they're headed back to the Stanley Cup Final, where it's a rematch from last year with the Panthers. So lots of things going on. There's certainly. But let's jump back to the purple. We're going to pause and come back. Alec Lewis of The Athletic. As I mentioned, you can follow him at Alec_Lewis. I still wish he'd change his handle and get rid of the underscore. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. But he writes for The Athletic, covers the Vikings. Just put a piece out there on the extension to Kwesi, so we'll talk about that, OTAs, and everything purple when we return. Final hour, 9 to noon on The Fan.
Colgate Total may make your favorite toothpaste, but it's also a science innovator committed to oral health. For instance, the Colgate Total Active Prevention System. With a cutting-edge toothbrush, refreshing antibacterial mouthwash, and a reformulated toothpaste, with a technology so innovative, it won the 2024 Edison Patent Award. The Colgate Total Active Prevention System is 15 times more effective at reducing bacteria buildup to fight the root cause of oral health problems in 6 weeks, starting from week 1, compared to a non-antibacterial fluoride toothpaste and flat trim toothbrush. Talk about science. Get the Colgate Total Active Prevention System today, so you can be dentist ready. Shop now by visiting shop.colgate.com/total.
Okay, have you heard about this? Last year, Degree changed the formula for their Cool Rush deodorant. Their fans rebelled and wanted the old scent back. And Degree listened. That doesn't happen often.
They admitted that they effed up and are bringing the original Cool Rush scent back. And it's exactly how you remember it. Cool, crisp, and fresh. There's a reason it's the #1 men's antiperspirant, and it's back in Walmart, Target, and other stores for under $4.
So try it and see what the fuss is about. Head to your local stores to try the OG Cool Rush for yourself.
Have you ever felt that uneasy anxiety when the 4 p.m. hour strikes? The creeping meal-related distress that happens when you don't quite feel prepared? You know, dinner dread. Let's get rid of that unpleasant feeling forever with one word. Stouffer's. No matter what happens, you'll have a dinner plan that everyone loves with Stouffer's. Some chicken enchiladas or a cheesy chicken and broccoli pasta bake is always welcome, whether it's Plan A or Plan D-licious. When the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's. Shop now for family favorites.
Summer on the south side of Chicago is heating up.
You planning revenge? Aren't you?
The Chi is back May 16th on Paramount Plus. It's the season of the women.
Women, this is our chance. It's time to get to work.
But the men aren't giving up without a fight.
The street's always gonna have a villain.
No one is backing down in the Showtime original series from Emmy Award winner Lena Waithe.
Why do black women always have to save the day? If we don't do it, who else will?
The Shy, new season streaming May 16th on the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan.